Once upon a time in a big city, there was a little girl who lived with her mother in a small apartment. The mother worked hard as a waitress in a restaurant, so that her daughter would never have to worry about anything. And the little girl was very proud of her mother. She knew that she had to work very hard as a waitress to earn money for both of them. One day, when the little girl came home from school, she found her mother sitting on the floor next to a pile of charred wood. The mother tried to hide it, but the little girl could see that it was a rocking chair that belonged to her grandmother, who had recently passed away. It was the only thing left from her grandmother after the fire. The little girl felt sad because she couldn't remember her grandmother at all. All she had were some old photographs, including one picture of her holding a rocking horse. The mother hugged her daughter and said, "Your grandmother loved this chair so much. She used to spend hours and hours every day in it, reading stories to me and singing songs to me when I was just a little girl like you." The mother's eyes filled up with tears. "Oh, I wish I had my rocking chair back," she whispered. The little girl noticed how sad her mother was, so she said, "Don't worry, Mama. We will buy you a new rocking chair together. You can start saving money today." The mother smiled and hugged her tight. "That sounds wonderful, sweetheart. But we don't have much money, and a new chair will be very expensive." The little girl thought for a moment. Then she went into her room and started rummaging through her toy chest. After a while, she pulled out a small box. She opened it, took out something, and ran back to her mother. "Here you go, Mama," she said, handing her something to her mother. "I've saved up all my allowance, and now I'm going to give it all to you." Inside the box was a collection of shiny quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. The little girl had been saving up her allowance from doing chores around the house for months. She placed the box in her mother's hands. "This is for you, Mama. Please, please buy yourself a nice chair." The mother looked at the coins in her hands and then at her daughter. Her eyes filled up with tears. She couldn't believe how thoughtful and caring her little girl was. She knew that she had raised her daughter well. From that moment on, the little girl and her mother started saving up for a new chair. Every day the little girl would empty her piggy bank and put her allowance into a bigger jar. Sometimes she would even find coins on the street and bring them home to add to their savings. She knew that it was uneasy for her mother to work as a waitress, and she wanted to help her as much as she could. Every morning before the little girl left for school, she and her mother would look at the coins in the jar and talk about what kind of chair they would buy. The mother would always tell her, "You don't need a chair, sweetheart. You need a home full of love, laughter, and happiness." But the little girl insisted that her mother needed a place to relax and unwind after a long day of work. One day while walking home from school, the little girl saw a group of boys playing basketball in the street. They were having so much fun dribbling the ball and shooting hoops. She stopped and watched them for a while. Then an idea popped into her head. She ran home as fast as she could, grabbed her basketball, and ran back to the boys. "Can I play with you?" she asked them. The boys stopped playing and stared at her for a moment. "You're a girl," one of them said. "Girls aren't allowed to play basketball, but I want to try," the little girl insisted. "Okay," said one of the boys. "If you can make a basket, we'll let you play." The little girl took the ball and shot. Swish, the ball went straight through the hoop. "Yes," she shouted. "I did it." The boys cheered and let her join their team. They played until the sun began to set. The little girl was exhausted, but she didn't care. She had never had so much fun in her life. The next day, she went back to the basketball court and played again. And the next day, and the next day. She made so many friends there. One day, one of her friends told her, "We're having a big party on Saturday. You should come." "What kind of party?" the little girl asked. "A lemonade stand party," he said. "All the kids in the neighborhood are going to come. It's going to be so much fun." The little girl was excited. She couldn't wait to meet all the other children in her neighborhood. She asked her mother if she could go to the party, but the mother said, "No, honey. We don't have any money, and I don't want you to feel left out." The little girl understood, but she still wanted to go to the party, so she had an idea. She went back to the basketball court and asked her friends if she could borrow some money. "I need to buy a lemonade," she said. The boys looked at each other and started laughing. "Why would you need money for a lemonade?" "Just take one from us," said one of the boys. He took a coin from his pocket and handed it to her. "Here you go. Take this," another boy said. "I want to buy a cookie." The little girl refused to take the money, but the boys insisted, so she finally agreed. She went to the store and bought a large glass jar of lemonade and a big bag of cookies. Then she brought it to the lemonade stand and set it up next to everyone else's. At first, no one paid any attention to her lemonade stand. But soon, people started noticing the cookies and asking what kind of lemonade it was. "It's special," the little girl said with a smile. "And so are you," said one of the women who bought a glass. She took a sip of lemonade and then bit into a cookie. She said. "This is really good stuff. How much do you want for a whole jar of lemonade?" "Whatever you think it's worth," the little girl replied. The woman reached into her purse and pulled out a $5 bill. "Here you go, sweetie," she said. The little girl couldn't believe it. She had just earned $5 in less than an hour. She quickly thanked the woman and ran home as fast as she could. When she got home, she emptied her pockets onto the table and showed her mother the $5 bill. "Look, Mama," she said, "I earned so much money." The mother was so happy to see that her daughter was making friends and earning money. She hugged her tight and said, "You are the best daughter in the world." The little girl smiled and told her mother all about the party and the lemonade stand. The mother listened patiently, and when her daughter was done, she said, "You know, honey, we don't need a chair. All we need is love, laughter, and happiness." The little girl shook her head. "No, you need a chair, Mama, and I'm going to buy it for you." From that day on, the little girl kept working hard at the lemonade stand, helping out at her mother's restaurant and collecting bottles and cans from the recycling bins. She saved up as much money as she could so that she could buy her mother a new chair. One day, the little girl and her mother were sitting at the table, counting their money. They had enough to buy a nice, comfortable chair. "Really, sweetheart, you don't need to buy me a chair," her mother said. "I love you too much." The little girl hugged her tight and said, "You deserve a chair, Mama. I promise I will buy it for you." So they went to the store together and picked out the most beautiful rocking chair the little girl could find. It was white with a soft cushion and little pillows on the arms. "Do you like it, Mama?" the little girl asked. "Oh, sweetheart," her mother said, hugging her. "It's perfect." The little girl and her mother started taking turns rocking in the chair. It was so comfortable and relaxing, and the little girl knew that her mother would love it. As the sun set that evening, the little girl and her mother sat together in the rocking chair. The little girl leaned against her mother's shoulder and closed her eyes. "Thank you, Mama," she whispered, "for everything." The mother stroked her hair and smiled. "You're welcome, sweetheart, now and forever." And so the little girl and her mother continued to live in their small apartment, working hard and saving money for their future. They had each other, and that was all that mattered.